All right, let's get to the best part of the sale. Actually closing the sale, where you're actually giving the customer payment options and you're really asking them for the sale and you're collecting money. And surprisingly enough, most people, the reason they don't close well is they don't ask for the sale. So that's something you really need to make sure that you're doing during this part of the process. So it's important that first of all, when you're closing, you expect objections. It's actually a good buying sign, okay? So when somebody says to you, well, look, I don't know if this will work for me, or how do I know this is going to work, or how do I know I can build business credit successfully in 30 days, or any of those type of things, that's a great thing. It means what you've said to them, what you've presented so far, they have a genuine interest in, but they have a couple barriers that still need to be removed for you to actually close the sale. So it's essential that you learn how to properly answer these questions and objections because look, every question you're being asked is an objection. If they say, look, how do I know if this is going to work for me? That's an objection. They're telling you, I love everything you've told me, but how do I know that this will actually work for me? So that is an objection. Any question you really face after your presentation really is an objection. You have to look at that just like that. And then what we're going to learn in this section with additional training below is how to use looping to answer these questions while providing massive credibility for you, your company, and the suite. Because that's what it comes down to. If they say, hey, look, how do I know if this is going to work for me? Well, that's not a question. That's not a question you're going to say, look, man, I know it's going to work for you. I've seen it work for a lot more people. That's not the answer. They're putting up an objection. So you want to answer their question, and then you want to go through this process that we teach you in this section called looping to add credibility to you, the company, and the suite. Because when they say, how do I know if this will work for me, then what they're really saying is, I have a credibility issue here. I don't know if this product is 100% credible, or I don't know if you are 100% credible, or I don't know if your company is 100% credible. Here's the problem. They're not going to tell you that. Nobody's going to come to you and go, hey, look, how do I know if this will work for me? Because to be honest with you, I don't really think your company or the product are credible. Nobody's going to tell you that. So since you don't know what the real objection is, then you need to answer their question, and then you need to provide credibility to all three, you, the company, and the product. Now, this short video isn't designed to teach you this in depth. There's additional training below in this section where you're going to get a detailed walkthrough of looping, how it works, why it works, and how to answer every question by giving them the answer and then giving them credibility about you, your company, and the product to make sure that you cover all your bases so you get them in a position where they're the best, where they're ready to close. Now, during the actual presentation and closed portion of the sale, you're going to realize there's two main objections that people have. These are the only two real objections our partners have ever truly faced. Credibility, again, they have a credibility issue, and don't take that personally. Okay, I talk to people about this and train them on this, and they say, hey, I'm really credible. My customers love me. Yes, they do. But here's the problem. Even because they love you doesn't mean that they trust that you are knowledgeable in the area of business credit financing. So you might be an attorney, you might be an accountant, you might be in credit repair, you might offer them another service and they trust you entirely in that area. But that doesn't mean that they're 100% certain that you can help them in another area. In order to do that, they've got to reach a certain threshold of credibility where they feel you, the product, and the company are credible to help them with that need. So the other thing is affordability. Can they afford it or not? If you can overcome these two objections where they see you, the company, and the product are 100% credible in their mind, are all a 10 out of 10, and at the same time you make it affordable, you're gonna close the sale. So for credibility, you want to make sure that you have an email autoresponder set up that the customer goes into. So look, any lead you get should be put into this email autoresponder. And this video isn't about teaching you how to do that. You're going to learn that in future videos in different steps. But you probably got to us because you got emails from us. You saw emails from me. So you see how this works. By getting emails from us, you knew we were credible. Whether you saw us on YouTube, whether you got our emails, whether you listened to our podcast, you knew we know what we're talking about. We already were credible the minute you came to us. You knew we were experts at what we do. This is what the emails we supply supply you in your back office are designed to do. So if you have a lead in those emails, then by the time they get to you for a presentation, it's much easier to close the sale. Even if you don't close the sale, you want to make sure those people are put into that email sequence, because that instills the credibility that you need to close the sale down the road if you didn't close it initially when you first spoke to them. So you also want to put a page on your website that I call a credibility page. It should have links to published articles you have. It should have links to press releases about the product and your company and you. It should have testimonials, all of which are supplied in your actual back office. So we supply you the articles and the instructions to get them out there and get them published, the press releases to get out there, the testimonials to get out there. It's very cheap. It's very easy to get these things set up and done. And then you kind of have a link on your website that you could push somebody to. So then that way, they see you as credibility. It overcomes the credibility objection, and it helps you close the sale, as well as the looping that you're going to learn below this video and other resources, and that'll also help give you the credibility you need to close the sale. So you also want to offer them payments, because the only way you can make something affordable is if you offer them monthly payments or weekly payments. It's got to be affordable. So you want to make sure that you offer them options that are affordable. That's one of the biggest drivers that will determine whether you close the sale or not. And again, we've got other videos that talk about how you price your suite, but weekly payments are a great way to make the suite affordable, because instead of charging them $600 a month, for example, you could charge them $150 a week. And the perception of that is that that's super affordable. So you want to test weekly payments, you want to test monthly payments, because that really has to do with making it affordable, which overcomes one of the biggest objections you'll face. And the least amount of money you ask for is their initial down payment's really going to determine your closing percentage as well. Remember, the majority, everybody you talk to is going to love what you have to say. Why wouldn't they? I mean, any business owner is going to love the concept of one place where they could build their business credit, get financing, work with finance officers, work with business advisors, get their DUNS number, get their Experience Smart Business Access phone number with 411. Anybody's going to love this. But again, what determines if they buy or not is, can they afford it? And a lot of people, how much you ask them for their initial payment, whether it be $500, $1,000, $2,000 on their initial payment, will determine whether they close or not. So if for any reason you're trying to close and not able to close, it's good that you mess with this one thing. Mess with the payments you're offering them, change them around, mess with the amount of money you're asking as a down payment, and test and see what works best. Because again, the cheaper payments that you actually offer, the less money that you offer them to get started with, to get going initially, will ultimately in large part determine how successful you are at closing the sale. So make sure you check out the resources below, where we really dive in and dissect the looping process, dissect what's really needed to close the sale when you actually sell the Business Finance Suite.